The backdrop is a basketball game on the north side of Minneapolis. The Hospitality House is the location. It has long served as a beacon of shelter and hope for kids growing up in the neighborhoods. The reason the game is different is who it involves: youth against police officers. The concept is not really about basketball at all, but about bringing the two groups together.
Mike, I believe that everything starts in small steps, you know, and with taking small steps in building relationships turn into big steps. And we understand that through basketball, eating, and just the fellowship, it builds relationships.
That is the real purpose. In urban settings across the country, there has been a disconnect, dominating headlines with stories of issues gone bad.
I think police officers have to, number one, learn the areas they work, the communities they work in. I think police officers have to get out of that armor and just be human. I mean, there's so many, it's so lucrative when you're just human and you make friends out here. You know? And I think police officers have to, you know, when I came on, you were just taught. The old guy who trained me in said, treat everybody, you recall, like it's your mom.
And I just want to say thank you. How much we appreciate you guys getting together with the police officers to try to make something good happen, right? Because it can be done, right?
See it every day, baby.
It can be done, right?
It can be done.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. The stats speak for themselves. And the police officers are telling themselves they are fearful. And the only way you can be fearful is if you don't know people. That's the data.
So if you break down that barrier and you get to know someone, which is the whole idea of today, you have a better chance of having a better relationship and more trust.
Well, we all know that's business, that's education, that's athletic sports. It's about relationships.
Over at Minneapolis North High School, they have a built-in formula for police relations. Charles and Charlie Adams are father and son. They are police officers, and they coach the high school football team.
We bridge that gap because our kids basically get the opportunity to deal with an officer on a long-term basis, you know. Me coaching 6 years at Minneapolis North gives these kids the opportunity for me to sit down and talk with them. And you know, we talk about life issues and stuff like that.
The conversations with players are on a daily basis, and that matters. Because at this point in their lives, they are forming opinions that could last a lifetime.
You know, we have these issues of, you know, especially after all the officer-involved shootings with black males, we sit down and have a conversation with our kids about what you need to do to make sure you're safe if you get pulled over by the police, and we have those conversations, you know, and they listen to it and they ask us questions. So, yeah, we talk about a lot of life issues, especially around law enforcement.
It is part of a greater educational tool that may have its greatest educational impact: to humanize police officers. What is it about police officers that have you gotten to know them better, or what's your perception of police officers?
Well, it's getting to know them.
What do you find out when you get to know them?
A lot of great things.
Like?
What they do on a daily basis, what they do for the job.
I think it's important for our police department to you know, get out and do things with the community, interact with them, sit down and have lunch with them. It kind of humanizes our position as police officers and kind of lets them know that we're people too, and it lets us kind of have some conversations about some of the challenges we're facing together.
What they seem to agree on is the method. It revolves around as much contact as possible. Nothing fancy, just conversation. What do these kids need to know about police officers and relationships as you studied it here?
We all just keep coming together, keep communicating, keep talking. And I think the more we communicate, it's much easier now to get to understand each other. And I think that's the most important thing today.
So these days become important. Not that it will solve all problems, but that it will narrow the gap of what people perceive of the police and what is real.
A day like today is phenomenal because they invited us. You know, it's not like we used to just like show up in places and stuff like this, but when you start getting invited places, it means you've made an impact and they want you here And they've opened the door to give us an opportunity to even impact more people and meet them today.
Seems like life, the answers to improvement are many times at our fingertips. We just need to look inside instead of waiting for an outside force to solve it.
Doing things that what they've always been doing, which is what you see in the gym today. When we grew up, North Minneapolis, 4th Precinct was up on West Broadway and 26th. And they had a program, I don't know if they called it PAL, but we've always had athletic programs that the community was involved in. And we had officers that either lived in our community and knew the community well.
So they take the message to the community by taking it to the football field and to the basketball court with one goal, to bring peace and harmony by bringing police officers together with the community they serve.
I think with all the different things that are going on with the police and trying to hold up the law and in the community debating their tactics and so there's a lot of pulling apart in the community.
A lot of mistrust, huh?
Mistrust, yes, sir.
And the key to knocking down that barrier is based on the nature of human beings.
At the end of the day, we were born to enter into positive relationships with people. And anytime there's something that breaks that down, you're gonna have problems. And we should get back to that.
Life to the Max is brought to you by Life Touch, photography for a lifetime.